Welcome back to the Lone Ranger Radio Show. Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. Yes, I am the Lone Ranger. Thanks for joining me today. We've got a lot more to cover. First of all, I promised you I was going to talk to you about the battle between Donald Trump and Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell being the Fed chair for the Federal Reserve, and Donald Trump wants to get him out of there, even though he was the one that appointed him, I think, in 2016. However, it's become a burr in his butt. And Donald Trump thinks he's just way too late on dropping the Fed rate. Now, you know me, I'm a little concerned about Fed drops because it does tend to increase mortgage rates. If you don't understand why it would increase mortgage rates, let me give you a brief description. First of all, the Fed rate has nothing to do with mortgages, nothing whatsoever. It just lowers banks' money to borrow money. Fannie Mae is not attached to that. Freddie Mac's not attached to that. Ginnie Mae doesn't have anything to do with it. Has to do with consumer money. Now, but he wants to lower the Fed rate because that will stimulate the economy. And when the economy's stimulated, the stock market will generally rally. So it's going to be very good for you if you have money in the market. Okay. Now, the reason I get concerned about it is that mortgages are tied to the bond market, not to the Fed rate. So they're tied to the 10-year and the 30-year bond. Now, if the Fed lowers the Fed rate and it stimulates the stock market, it generally pulls the yield out of the bond market. And when the bond market suffers, interest rates on mortgages go up instead of down. Now, you might think that's crazy. You look at it. You go back, look at September 16th, where interest rates were and what happened after he dropped it a half a point. Look at November 6th, he dropped it a quarter point. Look at December, I think it was 8th, he dropped it another quarter point. When he does that, it made rates worse. Now, I do believe that we're in for a Fed cut, and I think that the trickle-down effect will be beneficial, but you have to be very careful what you wish for. Now, I know Jerome Powell is not alone on not dropping the Fed rate because it's a consensus within the board of directors of the Federal Reserve, and the consensus or the majority have said no lowering the rate right now. We think there's about an 89% chance that it's going to happen in September, but not until September. Now, in September, when they drop it, you could see an increase in interest rates. You could see a decrease. I know that's talking out of both sides of my mouth because I'm being honest with you. You don't quite know. Although I do think that lower rates are in our future. So having said that, I want to talk about refinancing. I'm getting calls. You're getting bombarded. You're getting phone calls, solicitations, text, letters in the mail, calls from your mortgage company going, refinance, we can save you money. Refinance, we can save you money. I'm going to tell you something right now. Do not do it. And do not do it with your lender until you check with me, because I will tell you, I think there are more predatory lenders out there than you could shake a stick at. And they are predatory. Now, listen, here's the problem. I talk most of you out of doing a refinance right now. Most of you. Why would that serve me to talk you out of doing a refinance? That's silly, but it's true. And it's because it's the right thing to do. And that's why so many of you count on me. So many of you call me and go, Bruce, I wouldn't trust you with anybody else. I want you to do my mortgage because I can count on you. And listen, I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to BS you. I'm not going to drive you down the wrong path. If I don't think it's the right thing to do, then don't do it. And if you just choose to do it, that's fine. Do it. But if I tell you not to do it, it's because I think there's a better opportunity. So for those of you that would like to drop your interest rate, and let's just say you're 7.5% or north. If you're not north of 7.5%, don't let somebody talk you into it right now. It's BS. And I'm seeing them quoting rates in the 4s. It's baloney. They're not going to do it. Not on a 30-year fixed. So here's the thing. I created a VIP watch list for my current clients that I have done mortgages for since February of 2022, because that's when the rates started to go up. So I created a watch list and I promised them I'd refinance their home with no lender fees at discounted interest rates just to get their rate down. So I created a VIP watch list. Well, then a lot of my radio listeners got wind of that and said, can I get on your list? So I felt that it would be my responsibility to make sure that I take care of you as well as my current clients. So if you're looking to refinance to drop PMI or lower your payment or lower your rate, call or text me with your complete information, including address, phone number, email. Text me at 813-213-4009 or 407-706-3313. I'll give the number out again in a minute, or go to webringyouhome.com and complete an application. I will put you on park. By the way, we do not pull hard credit pulls in my branch until you're ready to go to closing or underwriting. That's when we have to do a hard pull. But why would you shop around and have a bunch of people pull hard credit pulls on you? That's silliness. I ain't doing that. You shouldn't let somebody do it. So FHA is a little different because FHA lenders can't run full approvals without a full credit pull. So there is some exceptions to that, but very rarely. Now, I also mentioned that I think you guys are not very good at picking your real estate agents. Quite frankly, I think it's horrible. And I see money left on the table that you leave on the table all the time, and you don't even know it. And I can't say anything because you chose the real estate agent. Now, I recognize this is a problem for you. So I had to come up with a solution. So I created a program called the Loan Arranger Real Estate Rebate Program. That's right. Say it together with me. The Loan Arranger Real Estate Rebate Program. You did good. You did good. Okay. Now, here's what it does. I know that was a mouthful, but I will handpick the real estate agent that's best suited for you in the area that you would like to buy or sell in. That real estate agent will rebate you back up to 25% of their commission, up to $10,000 back to you to use towards closing costs or escrows. Now, I also require that if you need more closing costs paid from the seller, that they are required to negotiate that in the deal. And by the way, you're not paying a buyer's agent like some of these buyer's agents. And do not sign a buyer's agent agreement where it locks you into them ever. Don't do it. These are the things that you guys do. And then you come to me later and you can't fix it. So don't do it. Call me first. Call me first, man. I'm telling you. You don't know the stuff you're creating and the problems you're creating for yourself. And a lot of you are smart, particularly you physicians out there. You need to call me right away. Why? First of all, you have way more education than I do. Okay. You probably have more education after high school than I had before high school. Okay. As you know, I'm a 10th grade dropout. I quit school in the middle of the 10th grade. I was orphaned at 15 years old. I didn't finish. But now I run a multi-million-dollar company. I've invested millions in the market. I have made a ton of money in real estate and investments. I am extremely smart when it comes to money. Why? Because I made it a point to know how to work the market. Most of you do not know. You don't even know what rate of return you're getting on your 401k. And then you call me up and tell me that you got a high yield savings account that's paying you 4.25%. That's not high yield, friends. That's not high yield. That's like saying I got a sports car, it'll hit top end at 75 miles an hour. That's not a sports car. So call the Loan Arranger, please, please. I'll help you. Even if you don't use me, I'll help you. How do you like that? 407-706-3313 or 813-213-4009. Want to get back to Trump and Powell. Boy, is he mad. Central banks of Europe don't like Powell. They're not dropping rates, and it's putting too much pressure on the European Central Bank. So everybody wants him to drop the rate. I know why he's not, because inflation has gone up a little bit recently because of the tariffs. Okay. And that's why Trump wants him to drop the Fed rate. It'll bring that inflation number back down a little bit, supposedly. Now, do I know if that's going to really happen? I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but I am in favor. If Donald Trump wants to drop rates, I'm going to go along with what he's doing. Okay. He's a very smart man and he's got his act together and he has this country's best interest, whether you like him or not. And I know a lot of you just don't even like him. I don't really care. I don't care. I know what he does for us. I know how much he cares. And I think these Democrats and people that, and I hate to use Democrats because two of my very best friends are Democrats. God rest their soul. But it irritates me. However, a lot of these Democrats that are against ICE wearing masks, and they're for letting these illegal aliens out of jail, and they're worried about the conditions of a prison. Okay, give me a break. What country do you really support? And then you got that moron up in New York that's running for the mayor. That's a communist. Believe me, you younger generations better get your act together, because you're going to pay for it. I'm going to be dead and gone, and you're going to pay a serious price for it. And it's not going to be pleasant, but you are so out of touch of reality that you're believing all this propaganda, and it's fake news. Believe me, it's fake news. So you want the truth? You call the Lone Ranger. I'll give you the truth. And there's some things I don't like. I mean, I can be liberal minded on a lot of things. I'm for pro-choice. I'm for legalizing marijuana. Quite frankly, I'm for legalizing a lot of drugs. I don't think people should be in jail for it any more than you could be in jail for drinking alcohol in your own house. I believe that you should be arrested and put in jail if you're driving under the influence, if you're destroying somebody else's property, or if you're affecting somebody's, uh, personal situation negatively, then that's a problem. But I just don't believe that our jails need to be full of people smoking weed. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, that's my diatribe for the day. All right. I wanted to talk about popular products. First of all, Hometown Heroes, still not out yet. Still not out yet. But Age Rejuvenation helped me lose 77 pounds. Okay. And I'm going to be doing an event with them in Orlando, and I'll get you the date here in just a minute. But if you are looking to lose weight, maybe you need some testosterone therapy. Maybe, you're just not feeling 100%. Maybe you're post-menopausal or something. I'm going to be doing an event with Age Rejuvenation, and that's going to be at 410 North Orange Avenue in Orlando. And I will get you all of the details. It's going to be a rooftop event, and I would really love to have you guys meet my friends at Age Rejuvenation. So call or text me at 813-213-4009 or 407-706-3313. And then also I'll be hosting the All-Star Jam. And then I want to mention my friends at Trinity Family Builders. So, I had a client, went to another builder, worked up a deal. They gave him a bunch of static. He wanted to use me. They wouldn't pay the closing costs if they used me. I switched him over to Trinity Family Builders. He got about $20,000 more in concessions, got a bigger house for less money. I'm telling you, unbelievable. These guys are incredible. Locations all over Central Florida. So if you want, go to my website at webringyouhome.com, and I'll get you in touch with my friends at Trinity Family Builders. You got Groveland, you got Mascot, Leesburg, Howie in the Hills, Eustis, Claremont, DeLand, St. Cloud. I mean, they got communities all over the place, and they're right here, and they're here to help you. Call me and I'll get you connected with my friends at Trinity Family Builders. And again, if you need a real estate agent, let me know. If you are looking to refinance, I already told you, don't refinance to lower your rate right now. Hold off. I'll add you to my VIP list. But I want to reach out to all of you that may be getting a little behind. Now, don't get late on any of your bills. If you own a home and you have equity, I will promise you, let's look at adding everything into one loan, consolidating it, then taking the difference that you were paying currently to what you're going to pay when I reduce your payments, adding that to the loan and paying your home off, so you have no debt, no car payments, no credit card, and no mortgage by the time you retire, if not sooner. My name is Bruce Woodburn, and I'm the Lone Ranger, and I appreciate you staying with me today. I hope you enjoy this beautiful weekend. I'm blessed to have you listen to me. I'm blessed that you trust and count on me, and I'm right here in your backyard, and you can utilize me. And believe me, I am involved in my transactions, and you will speak to me. 407-706-3313 or 813-213-4009 or webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. God bless you. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.